Welcome, please be seated. Dear guests, dear friends of the Chamber of Commerce, Grüezi, Shalom. I'd like to present myself from the Chamber of Commerce. It's a splendid winter day, and thank you for being with us and not on the ski slopes. We welcome here 80% of newcomers to the Chamber of Commerce, Switzerland, Israel. We are happy to have all the new faces here among us to present you Israel as it is, a modern, dynamic country full of innovation. We'd like to thank to our sponsors. Without them, this day would not have happened. InnoSwiss, Swiss Innovation Agency, Swiss Friends of Hebrew University Jerusalem, René Susanne Baginski Stiftung, El Al Airlines, Shibboleth Law Firm, Crystal Ham, and Fiduciaria Antonini. Okay, that was hard. The speeches, by the way, and the panel are being filmed, except for Professor Benita. And we will upload them probably next week. And then you can download it from our conference website. Thank you to Laura Herschler, where is she? Over there. She organized all the top distinguished Israeli speakers brought them to Zurich. And thank you to Dov Bargera, our board member, who had the bright idea at the right time for this topic. We now welcome the official Israeli delegation, His Excellency Ambassador in Switzerland, Jakob Keidar, his wife, Dr. Osnat, and Yair Shiran, Commercial Affairs Minister and representative to the WTO in Geneva. Many valuable awards to this summit. And now, Mr. Ambassador, the stage is yours, and you will present to us Israel's medical cannabis policy. Please.
Thank you very much. Maybe I should have gone here, right?
And people don't see you so much.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Zucker. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and especially the Chamber of Commerce for inviting me and for organizing this event. I would like to start by saying that you all see this one. Has nothing to do with medical cannabis, but it has to do with one of the people here in the hall, a good friend and colleague, Amos Radian, who we worked together for about 35 years or something like that. And he was the one to teach me ski. Honest to God. And it was in Tokyo. We served together in Tokyo. He told me, you have to learn ski. So we went together. The first half day I didn't succeed. The second half day it was okay. And now you see the result. So, Israel government approach to medical cannabis. Well, I have to say that we are in a very nice time now. And I will start with the quote that Israel is the MedCan research capital of the world. And we owe everything to this guy, basically. We owe everything to Professor Rafael Meshulam, who was the first to isolate the THD and the CBD compounds in the cannabis plant, which offer great potential for the treatment of pain and inflammation. I haven't tried it yet, but maybe. Since Meshulam's discovery, 55 years ago, Israel has continued to be the home of innovative cannabis research and development. I have to tell you that today I read about the newest cannabis, I don't know if you heard about it, the newest cannabis research, maybe you spoke about that. I saw it on the news that I had to smoke cannabis on Saturday. Somebody developed some device that allows to smoke cannabis on Saturday with, for people who keep the Saturday, who are religious. Great invention. Now, for example, the Agricultural Ministry of Israel last year invested in 13 biochemistry and medical cannabis research projects. Now, we are very fortunate, probably everybody spoke already about the legislation in Israel and the law that, or actually the decision that the government passed last Sunday. Probably all of you know that last August 2017, the Inter-Ministerial Committee of the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Health recommended allowing the export of cannabis for medical purposes. And finally, this Sunday, Israel's newest industry exporting medical marijuana was approved by the cabinet, by the Israeli cabinet. The government decision opens new markets to Israeli companies that developed medical cannabis products. Now, a company has to obtain from the Ministry of Health in Israel dual licensing to engage in medical cannabis and to export it. And then the companies may only export to other countries where use of medical weed is legal. But this is quite obvious. I spoke with the Canadian ambassador yesterday, and there it's it's developing very quickly. And I told her about this conference. She was very envious. Now the companies need to adopt the quality standards of the Ministry of Health, and I guess that it will take probably many more months for the government to put forward the regulations and procedures. It will take time. I read somewhere that it might take between half a year to 8 months, but I'm not sure about that. So prior to this approval, at the end of December, the Knesset approved legislation granting police wider enforcement powers. The police may now monitor marijuana farms and grant approvals for growing and exporting cannabis and cannabis products. I have 2 police officers with me here, but they are only for me, that's not for the... Now, the Israeli Medical Cannabis Agency, IMCA, nothing to do with YMCA. While cannabis is not registered as a medicine, the Ministry of Health of Israel believes that its products can be of benefit in the treatment of certain medical conditions, of course. Although it contains substances defined as narcotic drugs, which require control and regulations in order to ensure the public's health and safety. And cannabis should be treated as far as possible in the same manner as a registered medicine or medical product. In any program pertaining to the use of cannabis for medical purposes, the State of Israel is bound to the provisions of the International Single Convention of Narcotic Drugs from '61, and also to the Ordinance and Regulations and the Dangerous Drug Ordinance from '73. The Israeli Medical Cannabis Agency, IMCA, in the Ministry of Health serves as a governmental agency in accordance with the provisions of the Convention in all matters relating to the control and regulations of cannabis treatment for medical and research applications. Now, what are the principles, how the IMCA works? And what does it do? It regulates the supply chain, standardization of medical grade cannabis products and quality assurance. In order to ensure high quality standardized medical grade products from the stage of plant reproductive material to the final cannabis product that is dispensed in the pharmacy. Then the second one is the methodology for indication-based clinical practice and training of physicians. The use of medical grade cannabis should be comparable to the use of any registered medicine or medicinal product, as far as possible. Research and development, of course, the Ministry of Health of Israel acknowledges the necessity for more research and for evidence-based medicine in the field of cannabis. Therefore, the Ministry is in favor of promoting research and advancing scientific knowledge at all levels, from plant science to clinical trials. And then supervision and compliance with the legal status of cannabis. Of course, it's quite understandable. The Ministry of Health's target is to make treatment with medical grade cannabis accessible while ensuring safety and quality. Now, another, maybe the most important thing that the IMCA has been doing is they prepared a kind of encyclopedia, or a kind of the medical grade cannabis cannacopedia, the medical cannabis good clinical practices guidelines for all the cannabis chain in order to provide the initial information. For medical grade cannabis growers, for medical grade cannabis product manufacturers, for distributors and pharmacies, for security of all the chains, and good clinical practices guide. Somebody asked me just before I entered this room, what about another group, which are the users? I said they didn't prepare anything for them. The clinical guide covers information that has been accumulated and published in scientific literature, as well as the accumulated experience of professionals practicing in the field. And my last slide is what we can do with Switzerland. I mean, we are small, as you know, democratic, open, and promote free trade and leaders in innovation, Switzerland and Israel. We have signed an agreement last June between the innovation authorities of Switzerland and Israel for cooperation. We have excellent science and technology cooperation, intensive trade relations, and now we are going also to have a good cooperation in science and also in trade, in cannabis, in medchem. I hope that we will have a fruitful and joint cooperation. Thank you very much.